Hi guys, I've been meaning to do this for a while, but this year I'm actually celebrating, or this month I'm actually celebrating 20 years of self-employment, running my own business, doing commercial, industrial, corporate, portrait, fashion, and after 20 years it's better than ever. 20 years ago I made the choice to change from being a solely wedding portrait photographer to transferring across to commercial, industrial, corporate, and portrait, more B2B, business to business photography. And it has been fantastic. Now, one of the things that every now and again in business we go through and we look at ourselves and work out, all right, I've done it this way for so long, I need to look at where I've been, what I'm going, and why I'm doing this. Why am I still doing photography after 20 years? And I must say, enjoying it. Now, one of the things that I sat down and wrote recently was my whole vision, mission, and values. Fantastic, everybody should do it. And sometimes it's sort of like, you look at what's important. What are the values that Mark Duffus or MD Photography, Bespoke Studio, we all hold together? And what makes us us? One is, the most important thing is, we love what we do because we're doing what we love. Now that pretty much says it all. If you're not doing that, I wouldn't be here after 20 years. Now, one of the things that sort of is quite often so many people just accept what's put before them. Well, one of the values that I hold is to basically challenge reality. Never take anything for granted. Always just ask or see if you can push it further or take it to new levels. Which basically brings on the sort of, what photography is all about now is creativity. And for me, creativity never stops. You've always got to find different angles, different ways to look at it. Because as a professional, that's what people are employing us for. They want a different pair of eyes based on our knowledge base to look at what they've got and how we can capture it and present them something amazing they haven't seen before. Which of course brings back, bringing out the creative thing. We've got to have the initiative to do that. And initiative in business, in any business, no matter what it is, and especially in ours, is so vital. We've had the initiative to offer in a positive way that sort of like these options to people. What can they do? How can they do it? And that's where the initiative comes through. So it's always thinking. And part of that initiative and the creative is searching for something alternate that they haven't thought of. And sometimes it's quite challenging. And we have to think ourselves for something different and alternative. Now, one of the things that sort of quite often comes up, and this is probably the value that's held true even before I changed to doing commercial, was basically when you're photographing people, whether it's a CEO, whether it's a child, whether it's a model, whether it's anybody, you're looking at the context and you're trying to get something of that person to come through. Because so many people put that facade up when they're being photographed. And you need to break through that to get something a little bit more that makes you, the reason that they come to you, being the professional, is that you can get something out of them and get them to communicate with you as the photographer and to come through on the camera. And all of this comes together, and one of the big elements that in my business and loving what I do is basically having fun. We always possibly sometimes having a little bit too fun. You get off track, come back. Now, one of the big things that sort of come through, because we've been through GFC, we've had this, we've had that in business and everything else. And one of the big values is to think beyond. New is everywhere. And there is. Quite often we get, we can't do this, so we can't do that. And you're going, no, there's always a new field, a new areas that we haven't looked at that we can photograph, we can do, we can explore, new techniques, new avenues, new markets, and it applies to business, it applies to creativity, it applies to photography and life, really. And one of the biggest thing that sort of is my biggest driver every time I look at a job or I'm on the job is when you're finished, you're not finished. Always look again. Always have that second take. And just basically just try and push yourself every time. Never get lazy. Never just say, that's enough. It's always basically taking it to the next level and going beyond what even what you expect. So when you're done, have a look again. And basically, one of the things is sort of writing down all these big, which now I must admit, after I wrote them down, the values are powerful things because they determine how everybody who comes in contact and work with it should be working as well. So it's one of the things that those values have kept me going for 20 years and given me some amazing relationships. And now with a business partner such as Michelle, I'm looking forward to another 15, maybe another 20 years. But thank you guys. We'll hopefully talk to you soon. And if you've got any photography jobs, give me a call. Okay, see you later. Bye.